Welcome everybody, and I will call our regular public council meeting for Monday, January 25th, 2021 to order here in the council chambers. Just a reminder to residents that our council meetings are still closed to the public for the time being because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but luckily you're able to tune in on our civic portal or our town's YouTube channel and follow along. I'll remind anybody that if they have questions for our Q&A sessions, that they submit them to apico@torbay.ca, and we'll do our best to answer the questions during the meeting. Remember, there might be a bit of a delay, so if you send in a question towards the end of the meeting, it might not get picked up before we adjourn. So if you think of something during the meeting, send it in as soon as you can. And as always, staff and council are always available to the public to answer questions, so you can call here, send us emails anytime during the day. So with that, start new business. Councillor Glenn. Thanks. Councillor Pollard.
Pass.
Councillor Thorngass.
Pass. Pass.
Councillor Roach.
Pass.
Deputy Mayor.
Happy New Year and thank you.
And Councillor Martin is joining us by telephone this evening. Do you have anything for the go-around, Justin?
Pass.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And I got a congrats and a thank you. All right. And we do have a question that was submitted by Madeline for the first Q&A session, so we'll make sure that we have that added in there. And I would require a motion, please, to adopt the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We have a set of public council meeting minutes from January 11th. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, motion to adopt those, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Proclamations, presentations, Q&A. We have one proclamation here for Bell Let's Talk Day proclamation, and Councillor Thorngass, take it away.
Bell Let's Talk Day 2021 flag raising. Whereas January 28, 2021 marks the 11th annual Bell Let's Talk, a day of conversation, support, and positive change for mental health. And whereas Town of Torbay supports positive mental health for all citizens and members of our community and seeks to improve the lives of all citizens who will experience a mental illness or mental health issue in their lifetime, and those who are struggling with their mental health amid the COVID-19 situation. Town of Torbay recognizes that due to COVID-19, people are experiencing challenges that may affect their mental health. Now more than ever, the need for conversation, awareness, and action around mental health matters, and every action counts. Town of Torbay raises a flag to celebrate Bell Let's Talk Day and encourages all citizens of Torbay to join the conversation and help create positive change.
Therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Craig Scott, do hereby proclaim Thursday, January 28, 2021, as Bell Let's Talk Day in the town of Torbay and encourage support of this campaign. So moved.
Second.
Seconded. Any comments?
I actually wouldn't mind just saying a very brief word on this. I remember.
Turn on the microphone, please.
I think I might have to turn it off. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I guess when it says, hey, this is the 11th year. So I remember when this first came about. And, some people were like, well, what's talking going to do about something? When are you going to do something? So it's always kind of, the talking versus doing thing. But I tell you what, 11 years later, I think this program has gone a long ways to just making, talking about mental health just mainstream and normalized and encouraged and stuff like that. And just want to take a step back and say, thanks to everyone involved in this, because I really think it has gone a long way to bring the conversation forward and really encourage people. If you take a look at now how much people talk about mental health versus 2010, 2009, I mean, I feel like a dinosaur. Like we didn't talk about that much, but now it's front and center in a lot of our HR policies and how you interact with people, you know, in the workplace and at home and here at council. So I just wanted to say that taking back 11-year view back, geez, you know, we've come a long way, and well, I think we were going to be equally as far in another 11 years. So just want to thank everyone involved.
Thank you. Anyone else?
This is a really important initiative, and it's a really important conversation to have. And to Councillor Gallant's point, I think there's been an awful lot done in the last 11 years. You know, people walk in. I walked in here tonight with a bit of a limp because I played soccer last night. I wouldn't think twice to say, hey, I've got my knee hurt because I was out playing ball. I wouldn't think twice to go to a doctor. But lots of people will still think twice about saying, hey, I had a really rough day. Hey, I had a loss in my family or something happened. And, you know, absenteeism, presenteeism, all those things cost money. And simply, often, just being kind can help. So often, just listening and being kind. So I think it's really important to have this conversation. I was very happy today to see that we rose the flag, that you had the sign out there, big and proud, and that we had that all over our social media channels. And I think it's important. I think it's a very important discussion, especially now with an election year and when we're looking for candidates and people say, oh, I want to run for council on my mental health. Let's have the conversation. It's important. So I think I'd just like to jump in and talk about how important it is and make sure that, you know, when the 28th, I believe it's 28th, it happens, that we tweet, we retweet, share, do everything we can to help raise the cause and take care of the stigma that's been attached. Those are my thoughts.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'll say a couple of words on it. I guess to Jeff's point, that nobody ever used to talk about mental health issues. And a lot of people I guess, suffered in silence. And this is the point of Talk Day and speaking out. And to Deputy Mayor's point about the retweeting and these things, that's good to do because there's a lot of money gets raised through Bell for that, through social media posts when people put the hashtag in there. And to your other point about people considering running for council, and I know that this council in particular and myself, this year was really tough. Since this pandemic has been in, you know, these mental health issues creep up on you over time. It's not something that all of a sudden the light comes on and you're having, and mental health issues for different people can be different things. And to that point, I did raise at our last board meeting with M&L that we should, as an organization, look at some way that we can put supports in there for elected officials, because there's all kinds of supports for staff people through EPA and those type things, but there's really not much out there for members of council. And if anybody ever watches social media feeds in particular, you can see how different members of council, not just our council, but all councils and all politicians of all stripes, how much they get attacked and criticized, and you know, it's not easy to look at all that stuff. So I think it's an important point to make, and you know, I'm glad that we're supporting this. I was happy to be here this morning to put up that flag, and I think it's great. So, all in favor? Aye. Councillor Martin, are you still there? Councillor Martin?
Sorry, my phone muted. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, I concur. I agree.
All right. Okay. Opposed? Thank you. Do we want to take a picture for this? I'll just stand up a little ways here. All right, thank you, everybody. Next on the list, I got an email here for the Q&A. It's more of a, well, I guess the Q&A is a suggestion. So I'll just read it out verbatim what it is. It says, now that winter has arrived, walking on our beautiful trails is a little harder. Not everyone can manage deep snow with snowshoes or skis, and walking on the roads is not always a safe option in winter. I would like to suggest that council look into the cost of providing some winter grooming on some of our trails like they do in CBS. The Grand Concourse has been doing winter grooming on the trailway in CBS since at least last year, and the trail is always full of people. There were lots of people there yesterday. I walked there myself many times last winter, and even after Snowmageddon, it didn't take long for the trail to be passable again. More and more people have been walking and using our trails since the start of the pandemic, and being able to continue to walk safely and use trails this winter will be good for everybody's spirits. If the cost is not too prohibitive, I think it would be a good investment. Madeline. Madeline, thank you for that suggestion, and we will forward that on to Public Works, I guess, looks after trail maintenance, right? Yeah, and have a look at it, what costs or what ones maybe could we do, and you know, and kind of goes back to what we were just talking about with mental health. People want to get outside, and now with the pandemic on, there's not really a whole lot of options that you can do. So to go outside for a nice walk in the woods is something that many people would appreciate. And Madeline, thank you for that, and we'll have a look at it and see what we can do. All right, next.
Could I have, can I add on something? Because I'm very glad that that came up. Because my husband and I used to go walking a lot, but now he's still
Peggy,
out.
use your microphone.
Sorry.
Please.
Is it on? Yes.
It's on.
It was on. Here you go.
Okay. And he went in today, but it doesn't take very much, you know, to groom it. Because if somebody got a skidoo and they go in first, I mean, you know, it's all cleared, you know what I mean? And makes it a lot easier than when you go in and try to walk over ice and snow and, you know, afraid you'd fall in the water or whatever like that. But that's really a good suggestion, and I would certainly support that.
Okay, all right.
And like I said, it doesn't cost a lot to do, really.
Thank you. We'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, use your microphone.
So when you're talking trails, you're talking about our developed walking trails, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, we're not going to build trails I know what you mean, yes.
No, I mean, like, there's lots of trails up through the woods, there's old roads and that. I mean, we're not going to groom in look for a cost to groom that, just our developed walking trails. Say the one around the pond up to Upper Tree Corner, the ones in Forest Landing, that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. I've got an email sent there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Could I address that?
No,
What?
sorry.
I just wanted to say there are trails. I'm going to say it anyway, because you can find it for me. But anyway, you know, it's a very serious issue, and there are trails that have been old trails, and there are pathways, really, that go from, we say, down by us,
Right.
well, not by us now, but in the woods there, and it goes down to your the house, you know, and all that stuff. Oh God,
I
The
think,
water
Peggy,
place.
I understand where you're going with that.
do you know what I mean? And so, you know, that really needs to be taken care of too.
Yeah, but the town trails are owned by us. So if somebody gets hurt on them,
Yeah.
we can handle the liability because we're insured because there are trails.
Yeah.
But we can't go sending our equipment and stuff into doing trails that are not owned by the town. There's probably issues around
The
that.
one I'm talking about is owned by
Peggy.
our town.
This is Q&A for people. It's not a debatable thing.
Okay,
We're going
so
to
in
carry
other
on.
words, you can't open your mouth.
No, that's not what I said.
No, that's not, it's the way you put it, right?
Um,
That's okay. You know, I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things.
That's fine.
And I really think that there's issues that, you know, need to be extended a little bit. And if it was something that we ourselves did to
Cut.
to get to a place and all that stuff, you know, the
Okay.
town did years ago. And so. it'd be
Councillor
nice-
Roach, when that comes forward, then we'll have a debate on it.
Okay, darling, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I mean,
I don't mean to cut you
Mayor.
off, but this is an area of our agenda where it's not meant for debating.
okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Everywhere I go, it has to shoot a shadow.
All right, mayor's report. I just got a couple of quick things to talk about. Just the fact that we already just talked about it, I was here this morning to raise the Bell Let's Talk Day flag at the town. I think it's important, and I've had some calls from residents about other issues that sometimes we proclaim or we advocate, that it would be nice if we had flags for those. I know that we do have for some, like eating disorder, we put a flag up, and for other things that we put a flag. So that's maybe something that we can look at in the future, different flags for different things that we proclaim. So just thought I'd mention that. Family Literacy Day is January 27th, and on that day I'm going to be participating with some children at the Juniper Ridge Intermediate and doing a virtual reading and talk about the importance of literacy. And I think that the theme this year is Travel the World Together. So I'm going to have to do up something or write up something about traveling the world together virtually. So that should be a lot of fun. I really enjoy that, and I know that over the last year the school was closed, but this year so far it's been really difficult to participate in the events at the schools like we normally do. So I'm looking forward to that on Wednesday. And I have a traffic committee meeting on February the 4th. So anybody that sent me emails in regards to issues around the town with the proper information, I will bring that forward to that meeting then, and see if we can get some action on those items. And that is that. I don't have anything else to add. Anybody have any questions? Oh, okay, thank you. We have some correspondence. 2021 Census of Population. This was sent to us by Census people. So I guess we'll forward that on to, what committee would that go to, Ann? Admin, Finance? There's a motion? I didn't even realize there was a motion with it. Hang on. Okay. So
Mayor, it takes place in May, so if you want to refer to committee, we can do the motion later.
okay,
Okay.
that's fine. Yeah, all right, we'll do that, because normally we don't do motions from correspondence right away like that. So we'll put that to Admin, Finance, let them have a look at it. It doesn't really matter, it could go to planning. We have another one here, Bill C-213, and this came from a member of Parliament, Peter Julian. It's a friendly reminder that there's a bill coming forward to enact Canada Pharmacy Act. So we'll forward that on to admin as well, I think. Let them have a look at it and see if there's any recommendations comes from it. We have one here from Department of Justice and Safety, excessive vehicle noise, January 2021. I kind of read that today, to be honest with you, and I shook my head at it, because we sent a letter at the request of the Pipe Down Canal, talking about excessive vehicle noise in our town. And, you know, we are aware as a town that we can make bylaws with regard to nuisance and noise bylaws. We have them. But I don't believe that we have the jurisdiction to stop a vehicle that's driving on the road and apply a town bylaw to it. I mean, this is the Highway Traffic Act, so I don't know what to say about that. I guess it is what it is, and we'll just continue advocating. I know that the Department of Justice is working on some things, so if we get an update on that, we'll put it forward. We have one from Municipal Assessment Agency, documents. And Municipal Assessment Agency stuff, that goes where, eh? Planning or finance? Okay, good. And SAM Scholarship Application 2021. So not a lot of people know what this is. So Torbay is a member of the Stewardship Association of Municipalities. And Jeff just informed me before this meeting that when he was president of SAM, this was an initiative that you brought in. It's a really good one, I think, that the SAM is accepting applications for the SAM Conservation Scholarship. The deadline is May 1st. So it's a $1,000 scholarship recognizes a student from Newfoundland Labrador whose interest, activities, and post-secondary goals are focused on the conservation of habitat in Newfoundland Labrador. So to be eligible, a resident of Newfoundland Labrador, enrolled or entering in a post-secondary program, and have demonstrated an active commitment to conservation in Newfoundland Labrador. So that's a good one. If you want to go check it out, or if you want to apply, you can go samconservation@gmail.com, or you can go to www.samnl.org and get all the information and apply from there. And if you're watching this, it's going to be available on our website in our council package, and maybe we can put that out on our social media posts and let people know about it that way too. So, anybody have any comments or questions on any of that? It's all been for the committees to look at.
Just one.
Go ahead.
I think this is fabulous. I absolutely love this, and SAM is a fabulous organization. Thank you, Councillor Gallant, for your work to make this happen in the first place. I think the point that you first made, though, was that a lot of people don't really know about this, and I think it's fabulous that we are going to use our social media channels and our communication channels to share it out. But maybe when we do, if we could tag the high school or see if, I don't know if we could even, try to reach out, have staff reach out to the high school and see if there's a list of graduates who may be interested, or people who are graduating this year, to see if, even if they can't apply this year, they'd be aware of it for next year. Because I think it would be something that, that some of our residents may be interested to know more about. So that's all the point I was making. I just think it'd be nice if we could focus on, trying to hit that group somehow.
You know what, it's good that you mentioned that, because for the last number of years that I've gone to the high school at the awards, Captain Gown ceremony, where to give out these scholarships in the town, does a lot in terms of money that we give to students for getting honors, I guess, or principal's list. But I don't ever remember this one being given out. Do you know if we've ever given it out in Torbay?
I believe we have.
Okay.
Over the past, I'm not sure specifically, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we had done that before.
Okay. So anyway,
Or some a Torbay resident has been awarded the presentation.
okay, good.
Or the scholarship.
All right, so your point is well taken, and yes, we should distribute this to the high school so they know well. Thank you.
Yeah, just real fast, Sam's awesome again. I was happy to be president at the time. It's one of the things we worked on very hard to do. And the cool thing about this conservation scholarship, it's a legacy fund, and this is back when oil was still at $110 a barrel, and we talked about the importance of putting stuff away for rainy days and everything. And of course, folks wanted to have a scholarship. So instead of going out to the private sector and saying, "Hey, can we get $5,000 this year?" The next year, get $5,000. They actually collected X number of dollars, and the interest off that account is what is perpetuating this scholarship now and to the future, right? So it's really a sustainable approach to a specific sustainable cause. So I just thanks to all the towns across the province who made this a reality.
All right, thank you. All right. Committees, council. Where are we to? Planning, land use, and development. Councilor Thorngas.
Okay, we had our meeting on January 22nd. In attendance was the mayor, myself, and Director Swartz, and Councillor Martin sent his regrets. Town of Middle Cove, Luggy Bay Outer Cove referral, new municipal plan and development regulations. The committee was briefed on proposed new municipal plan and development regulations for the town of Luggy Bay, Middle Cove, Outer Cove. Director Swartz advised she attended a meeting with LMO staff as well as public information session. The committee was appreciative and also having had the opportunity to review the proposed new plan and regulations and provide a commentary and feedback. The committee recommended that the following commentary is provided to the town of LMO and therefore tables the following motion. Town of Torbay is appreciative of having been provided with the opportunity of reviewing the proposed new municipal plan and development regulations for the town of Luggy Bay, Middle Cove, Outer Cove, and wishes to acknowledge that the development of said plan and regulation falls within the LMO jurisdiction. A Arising from this review, however, the town of Torbay is kindly requesting consideration of the following. Torbay is open to collaborating in areas where there is shared municipal boundary and encouraging the town of LMO to do the same. This would apply, for instance, to the consideration of potential future recreation planning in the Jones Pond area, see Torbay's Recreation Master Plan, such as the potential future development of regional trail connections in the historic Jones Pond area from Torbay Road east to Marine Drive and the East Coast Trail. In addition, Torbay wishes to advise the Jones Pond is part of a provincial and municipal habitat conservation plan and stewardship agreement. The Jones Pond Management Unit includes a 30-meter protective buffer on the northeast side of the pond. The town would like to strive towards creating complementary land uses as matching sides of the boundary. If applicable, joint public notification or the development of a joint agreements could be encouraged where properties are located in both jurisdictions. Collaboration could be considered in areas such as the Jack Byrne Arena, where managing future recreation needs in the region will need to be considered in conjunction with planned commercial uses along Torbay Road and residential uses in LMO. So moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded. Questions, comments?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sorry, is the Councillor, does Justin want to go first?
Did you have something you want to say,
Oh,
Justin?
no, I didn't have a question. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Actually, it's kind of germane that we bring up the issue of municipal habitat conservation right after the Stewardship Association scholarship. Again, so I guess the plans that Logan Bay, Middle Cove, Outer Cove are adopting, they're not infringing upon the provincial buffer zones around Jones Pond, are they? Councillor, is that?
I don't know.
Could you repeat the question, please?
I guess I know that last meeting we talked about the plans that Logan Bay, Middle Cove, Outer Cove had, and I see here basically, you know, we are advising our neighbors about the Jones Pond buffer zones. Just to be clear, because I don't have the information here. There's no plans to, like, those buffer zones aren't in any aren't being rezoned or part of building lots or anything like that, right? There's no imminent danger to those buffer zones or anything like that based on their plans, is there?
So to the best of my understanding, Logie Bay, Middle Cove, Outer Cove is not part of the stewardship agreement. So the Torbay side, there's no changes to the Torbay side. So that's why this is mentioned here, that the Torbay side, the buffer zone in Torbay, and that's the 30-meter buffer. However, the others, the Logie Bay, Middle Cove, Outer Cove side of the pond, of course, is in their jurisdiction, and the buffering would fall within their jurisdiction. So that's why it's kind of mentioned here, because it's a significant piece of Torbay's stewardship plan, but it falls outside of our jurisdiction what happens on the other side of the pond.
Right. So that would just be, I guess the guarantee that they would have then for the protection pond is just the provincial 15-meter buffer, not the 30-meter buffer that all the stewardships towns sign into, right? Okay.
The 15-meter would definitely apply. I do understand that they have a wider buffer right now. However, there's some discussion in around that width. So that's why the specification was kind of put in here just to advise of what's happening on the Torbay side.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Just one question. With the parameters that are in their plan, anything that has to do with development within their boundary that may impact like zero net runoff, any sort of impact like that within the boundary, have we discussed that before we brought the motion forward to see what impact that would have? I mean, I'm just thinking that any sort of development, especially on the buffer of that management unit or anything else that could be coming up, we have our policies in place to protect our residents from these sorts of things and try to proactively address that. but there's development in a neighboring community, like I believe Portrait Cove, St. Phillips had required a motion of the town of Torbay for an application that was joint on our boundaries here within the last year. So I kind of feel that we need to make sure that those sorts of things are thought about in our feedback to Logie Bay Middle Cove, Outer Cove about work that will be done within the boundary areas. So I'm just curious to see what happened with that discussion, if that happened at all.
They have zero net runoff policy in Logie Bay Middle Cove, Outer Cove as well.
Okay,
So we have to remember, right, this is their town plan.
absolutely.
So really, we have to be mindful of our town interfering into their business. But that's why we did mention about areas of common boundaries where we can work together. And that's the reason we did that. Go ahead, Julia.
And just to add, in terms of the runoff, there is no runoff from Logie Bay Middle Cove, Outer Cove running into the town of Torbay. So the runoff really is from the town of Torbay into the town of Logie Bay Middle Cove, Outer Cove. So from that perspective, and generally if there's any development implications or if things happen on the boundary, there's generally a courtesy of referring to the other municipality. So presumably that would be the case here too, so.
Yeah, no, I guess was thinking of that as an example, but I
Yeah.
was just thinking that our policies on common borders
Mm-hmm.
would be shared with them so they could, you know, I in no way meant to impact their plan. I just think sharing information and making sure we have a discussion about how we communicate when development is happening.
Yes.
What our policies are, so they're aware and not have any confusion after, I guess is my point. Thank you, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Council Martin?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Carried.
Next one is permit listings. I have a motion here to accept permit listings for the period of January 8 to January 21st, 2021 as presented. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could you repeat that? That's what the motion?
It's just the permit listings, the permits that have been given out.
Sorry, I was reading those things.
Okay, all right.
Sorry. Yes, aye.
Okay, opposed? No. Unanimous, no wrong hand, so.
Okay, so I'm just briefly going to go down over the minutes of our meeting. On January 19th, we met here in the council chambers. Mayor Scott, myself, and Director Swartz. Councillor Martin sent his regrets. And we had our first meeting of the new Torbay Environment Advisory Committee meeting, and it's meeting with the Plug Committee. Members introduced themselves, reviewed and discussed the terms of reference as members' lines of communication, matters of confidentiality, and the general application referral process. And we looked at having quarterly meetings if possible and COVID protocols permit. It was a really good meeting to kick off the first one, and look forward to working with our new members. Then we met again on January 20th. The same committee members were present. And we looked at the long-term planning, Bernice Drive, open space allocation. And we had correspondence from the town of Middle Cove, Outer Cove, which we just went through. And we reviewed the municipal enforcement report. And I'd just like to add that the committee know that commissioners' hours of operation are now 7 to 3 p.m. and 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. This was determined in consultation with the town of Portugal Cove, St. Phillips, who are sharing the service with Torbay. We also had a development inquiry, and that there'll be more information to come on that one. We had reviewed the letter that was there, an email regarding private well water issue, and the committee discussed the content of the email and concurred with the development's email response at the time. The director followed up with the resident and provided additional detail. And so ends my report.
Do you have any questions? Seeing none? Thank you. Administration and Finance. Counselor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. We met on the 19th of January, bright and early in the morning, 8 o'clock, I think, if I remember correctly. Maybe I was still asleep when I started, but who knows? Close on. You'll see the regular reports attached there, and obviously a lot of time is being spent now in finishing up year end and getting ready for the auditors coming in as well at some point in time. The update on the financial side of the projects is there as well. And now I'll just go to the regular motions. Progressive Engineering and Consulting for the gas tax project 261 2019 6882 for road assessment survey and estimates in the amount of $5,635. Another one for Progressive for the gas tax project with vendor reimbursement is $5,916.27. Eastern Contracting Limited, final fabrication installation invoice for the upper three-corner pond softball lights in the amount of $30,527.33. Another one to Eastern Contracting for the holdback portion of the project itself in the amount of $53,475. Grand Concourse Authority, the final trail development invoice for Woodbridge to Western Island Trail, in the amount of $26,310.90. M&L Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador, the annual membership fees in the amount of $9,840.67. And the Municipal Assessment Agency, the first quarter for 2021, in the amount of $25,434.50 for a total of $157,139.67. So moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded. Comments or questions? First one,
So I had a question there on Grand Concourse, and I saw where the invoice came in 2021, so I'm assuming that that's going to come out of, that amount is coming out of 2020's budget?
That'll be a 2020 budget, I guess you're correct.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Keep forgetting about Councillor Martin on the phone over there. Next one, there's two loans that came due, and these are the final installments for these loans coming up now. The Town of Torbay renew loan segments 80 and 81 with RBC Royal Bank for a final 5-year term ending December 29, 2025. The interest rates for the first one on a balance of $336,000 was at 1.94%. The monthly payment will be $5,891.82 as opposed to the previous payment of $6,041. And the multi-year capital works for 2014-2017, the payment's gone down to $6,163 from $6,319 per month. So moved.
Second.
Seconder, comments, questions?
Just want to say it's really interesting from a debt perspective, timing. If you're going to start to borrow things from a town perspective, it's a good time to do it. I mean, you get some darn good interest rates. When's the last time you saw interest rates go below 2% for 5-year terms? I mean, 1.94% is a
That's
good
the
rate
interest rate I'm
overall.
getting on my visa, I think.
Well, it's rare.
Movie decimal.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Carried.
The last motion is a follow-up to a conversation we had in council some while ago concerning the donation to the bells with balls. And we went back and looked at some of the correspondence, and it actually refers to some research as opposed to necessarily a purchase of a gift for a particular project. So we did figure that obviously the cause is a worthwhile cause and has been for many years. So we, in conversation with Councillor Thorngoss, we decided that $500 donation would be warranted in this case. So the motion reads that the town approve a $500 donation to Bells with Balls NL. So moved.
Second.
Seconder, questions, comments? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Carried.
So ends my report, Your Worship.
Thank you, sir. And there's all kinds of background stuff there attached. If anybody has a couple hours on their hands and wants to pick through the town's finances, it's all right there.
I'd just like to add to that I went down over those reports,
Yep.
and I got to commend our Director of Finance for the job there, because even with the motions, everything, if anybody wanted, you talk about being transparent, and goes back over the last couple of years. So I'd just like to mention that that's a fantastic job that you've got done in there, and everything is explained, so thank you.
Yep, it's good, I agree. We get a lot of questions from people, like, where does the town spend all this money? Well, it's right there.
Everything
Black
is
and white.
there.
Fill your boots. All right, economic development and tourism, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Worship. We met via Zoom on January 14th from 6:30 to 7:30, myself, Councillor Martin, and our Economic Development Tourism Officer, Deanne Lawrence. The items that we discussed under economic development, we talked about the economic strategic roadmap. We were expecting a final report on the 18th, so look forward to receiving a copy of that from staff. There's a piece there about the motion that we had about Logan Middle Cove, Outer Cove. We discussed that at committee. We talked about the Pico Ridge Memorial Project, and we've actually, I was quite happy to see today the interest quote for the call of persons who may be interested to participate in that. I was fortunate myself to get in there. I think it was in December we hiked up, and I feel it's a project that requires the understanding of someone who's actually been in there to see what it is, how you get in, how you think about what's happening with, the neighbors, the access. Once you get in, you set up. It's not like you're just in one spot. It goes over a space, and there's parts. It's just it really requires, I feel, someone who has been in there to understand. As we're planning and working with the consultants to come up with the idea of what that's going to be, I think we really want to make sure that someone who understands the area and knows it well has a say in there. So hopefully someone in the community or communities will step forward for that. We had a look at the, what did we have? We looked at the business stats. A welcome campaign was discussed for new businesses, so how we could welcome new businesses in Torbay. We talked about the Torbay Business Awards as well. And then we talked about business supports, and so Deanne is going to take that away and come back with some information for us. Around tourism, the Regional Wayfinding Initiative is still on the go, so the town CBS and ourselves and Paradise are still working on that. I think that's an important one. Residents ask sometimes why we have these signs, but it's important that people can find their way around, especially when it comes to tourism and people aren't used to the region, and we want to bring more people in. So this is a bunch of communities working together to do the how do you find your way from one community to the other? So it's a good project. The committee discussed a request from the Torbay Folk Arts Council to support their efforts and share the newsletter that they will be circulating. So that will be coming out to council and directors, and it's just a way for us to be more aware of what they're doing, and they want to open communication and share more of what they're doing. They do fine work, so we're quite happy to recommend that that be shared around to all council members if they're interested to sign up to receive the newsletter. Under culture and heritage, we had a conversation about the History House. We met there a while back as council and talked about what that model would look like. So we've asked the Economic Development Tourism Officer now to take that information and the recommendation to council and create a recommendation that will come back to us. So I'm hopeful that we can get that to committee of the whole and get a decision on it, and then out to the public. So we're feeling that as long as we can get on the committee of the whole agenda, we should be able to get that out soon and get the motion for it. And we're also, before we go to the public, we will have that consultation as promised with the interested group that contacted us around what are we doing with the History House? How's it going to look? What's the government's model going to be? How's it going to roll? We did talk about that at committee as well, and we said, bring it to council, then we'll bring it back to them, and then it'll come here for a motion. So we're hopeful, within the next month to have that all put together, wrapped up, and brought back. And just sharing that the Occupational Health and Safety Committee, the Economic Development Tourism Officer advised that she is now part of that committee for the town. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions? No? Okay. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Infrastructure and Public Works. Councilor Thornhill.
We had our meeting on January 20th, in attendance myself, Councillor Pollard, and Brian Winters.
Okay. What about me? I was there.
Oh, yes, that's right, our mayor showed up as well. He was in attendance. 2020-21 projects, History House project. We reviewed progress claim number 3, and I'm just looking at this. I'm just wondering, Councillor Pollard, did we, I don't remember having a motion for the progress claim number 3.
Yeah, there should have been a motion across. Didn't get one after? Okay.
We didn't get it in time, and Brian suggested we could get it in the next
Okay.
council meeting.
Okay, so we'll get it in the next, at the next meeting. Stormwater management plan implementation, the director knows that he's met with PEC and that they are well on the way to having documents ready for early tendering prior to the spring. Old Depot renovation project, noted that he has established the following time frame, which is really good. The fire department should be happy. The confirmed plan with Torbay Volunteer Fire Department week of January 18th. Develop scope of work and tender package January 25th to the February 5th. Publish tender package February 8th to the 18th. Review tender February 18th to the 19th. Council approved February 22nd. And obtain required paperwork from successful bidder February 23rd. And so looking at this, if depending on how the timeframes go, the project could be ready to start on March 1st. If anybody got any other questions, because it's basically an update there, it's pretty straightforward. So rather than going into all of the different items that are there, anybody got anything?
Could I just ask for a little more detail on the sidewalks piece? The design work is proceeding with the spring start date. Is there any more detail on
The
that?
director was going to follow up just with municipal affairs to see if they've started any procedures to work to get it underway, because it would be nice to have the tender package to go so that they could actually be able to start the sidewalks as soon as the snow is gone.
So do we have any idea in the timelines of
I
when
don't
that
know
tender
if
package will be ready to
he's
go?
gone. He was going to follow up because that came up at our meeting, and he was
Yeah.
going to touch base with them after our meeting.
Yeah, I just would like to have a little more detail
Yeah,
around
we
that.
said the same thing.
Yeah, we're trying to nail that down. I know the tender package has to be put together first, so the design has to be put in tender format. It's got to go through municipal affairs for approval. They got to come back and say yes to it, then it's got to go to tender. So, you know, we're pushing now to make sure that it gets out as soon as the snow clears, so we get it in there. But we'll have more information as we go, and that's why we raised it up now. It's okay to say that, yeah, we're going to have it out in the spring, but I mean, time goes pretty quickly. We work in 2-week chunks, and every time 2 weeks goes past by, that's 2 weeks, you're no closer to where you need to be. So we're definitely pushing to make sure that we get the information in hand, so we'll update everybody as they go. So this will be a weekly or bi-weekly item on the report, and we'll certainly have more information next time around as to some potential timelines.
Thank you. I'd like to, if we could, have, when it's available, of course, more information about that. That'd be great. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else? Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you.
Just if I can, we did briefly talk about the water and the availability of water and some of the investigation around where we need to go with that, because I think probably a year ago, we had talked about the flow meter and that being installed and broke, and then we needed the new one, and the new one's in process of being done, along with the installation of the meter chambers itself. And then we got into talking about how we're actually recording or reporting on the numbers that we have from a water usage perspective. And I think we found out that, we have numbers counted for usage that there's actually no usage on, in terms of curb stops that are available with no water going through. So we're trying to refine those numbers now, so we definitely have a better figure when we get ready to decide what we're going to do with the overall capacity of northbound. That's it, Georgia.
Great. Thank you. Number 2. Recreation and Community Services. Councillor Glant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've got a Recreation and Community Services update for today. Basically, Family Literacy Day is happening on Wednesday, January 27th. Mayor Scott will be doing a virtual reading for students at Juniper Ridge. And the theme for Literacy Day is Travel the World Together. So, because the point is you don't actually need to go places because of literacy, right? Books can transport you around even when you're physically unable to do. I don't know, Ms. Baird, do you want to speak to that at all? Or?
No, not really. I already kind of did.
Okay, move on. Okay. Okay, and of course we have the Bell Talk initiative, which we're all very happy about. And we got a double page things going here. The other thing that we have just to update on is basically a list of all the programs happening in January and those happening in February. So I guess maybe I'll just give a quick update for the February one-off programs that are coming up. Virtual snowball fight, family drum circle, and afternoon sliding at Woodbridge. So want any more information on those things, please check out our website. And that's it for Parks Committee.
Questions on any of that? No? Thank you very much. Okay. Liaison committees, Atlantic Mayor's Congress, no update. Intergovernmental affairs, no update. There's an election on, in case you didn't notice. Yeah, that's my update. There's an election on. Jack Byrne, Deputy Mayor.
No update, really. The board is looking for a date now to meet. We had to change that. And I've received some communication from residents in the region who are concerned that the one person per player rules that the board has in place are, I guess the residents' concern was that other arenas were allowing 2 people and we were still allowing 1. So the conversation that I had with the resident was that, we have a plan. We had to get a plan in place with Service NL and get approval for minor hockey to operate. And the current plan that we have in place is a maximum capacity of 100 people. And so I did ask arena staff to go back and have a look at it and have a conversation with Service NL last week. And depending on what comes out of that, when the board meets, we'll have a discussion about it. But I'd like to remind residents that, we don't have a double rink ice surface where some of these, spaces have the space and ability to adjust their schedules. So, when you're coming in and when you're coming out and you're in 2 different completely isolated spaces, yes, you're able to have different numbers of people in the space, but we have one ice surface. And we have our arena divided in 2 right now with separate entrances. So you come in one side, you go out, the cleaning happens in between to make it as safe as possible to allow Northeast Minor to operate the way it is. So I just want to make sure that the public understands that we are working on this. Our staff are looking at what the Chief Medical Officer's guidelines are. By all means, if you have concerns about any of it, feel free to reach out and let us know. We will look into it, we'll work with you. But right now, the reason for that being the way it is perfectly just to stay within the guidelines of the agreement that we have with the provincial government to ensure that safety parameters are in place and that we can continue to play. So I just wanted to mention that from the Jack Byrne perspective. Councillor Pollard, do you have anything you want to share?
Nope, that's good.
Okay, that's it for me.
Okay, and that's actually, that's happening with all sports. My daughter plays volleyball with the high school, and no parents are allowed to go watch the game, so, but it's something that everybody is dealing with, so. It is what it is. There's not, I think. Northeast Avalon Joint Council.
We had our meeting last week, we had our AGM, and next meeting is in 3 weeks.
Okay. You had your AGM?
Yeah,
Are you still the chair?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's until next year, so it's for a 2-year period.
Oh, we're not, okay.
So there's no new board until then.
All right. RNC, I gave a quick update earlier that, excuse me, My next committee meeting is on February 4th, and I'll probably send an email, see if Julia wants to go with me to that meeting. She looks pretty happy about it, so. And I guess one thing I will mention, and I'm sure everybody has seen it, and I would hope that members of council share the social media posts that the RNC is posting about where they've been and how many tickets they're giving out and how many cars they've stopped and those things. I think it's very important that we share that information so that people understand that there is an increased presence within our town and within our area of our 5 towns or 6 towns in this Killy Coast zone, I guess, who comprise our committee, that there's a lot of work going into this, and the RNC seem to be stepping up and increasing the patrols, and the whole objective is to keep our residents safe. So if you see anything that you want to report, I mean, if it's immediate, go ahead and call the RNC. But if it's something that you think is a long-term issue that you would like for me to bring, send me an email and I will bring it and put it on their radar so they understand exactly what the issue is, where in town it is, and even if it's something that's at a particular time of day, any information that can help them zero in on a particular activity, the better. So anybody can email me, cscott@torbay.ca, or you can call me 697-4214. My phone number is on the website. Everybody in Torbay got it. That's that. Torbay Volunteer Fire Department, Councilor Martin.
Thank you. I attended via Zoom the fire department's bi-weekly meeting on January 18th, and taken from that meeting, there were a total of 6 calls, 2 alarm, 1 medical, 1 request to assist, 1 wire down, and 1 vehicle fire. The next bi-weekly meeting is on February 1st, and I just want to reiterate Councillor Goss's comments from her infrastructure report on the progress that we're making with the various projects for them. I look forward to seeing their facilities grow and whatnot. So other than that, that ends my report. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And the minutes are attached there for your perusal. UMC actually sent an email to M&L colleagues today, looking to when we're going to have our next UMC meeting. It's probably going to be virtual again, keeping in mind everybody's safety and the need not to bring large numbers of people together in the same place from all around the province and then send them back to different locations. It's not probably a very good idea. Notice of motion, we don't have any. New business, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I wanted to, number one, say Happy New Year. When I was reading the council package from the comments from last go-round, I do apologize for missing the last meeting, but I just would like to join in the wishes, and I think that it's important that, it's a hard year, it's been a hard year, but I think that sharing some bright greetings at the beginning of it and hoping for the best never hurts. I'd like to issue a couple of thank yous. Number one, I've been spending time the last couple of weekends at the Torbay Common to help with the Northeast United Soccer Club, and the staff have been fabulous. I have to recognize them. Their work has been amazing, so thank you to the staff. I'd also like to thank the volunteers. There's some really great people volunteering, stepping up, taking their personal knowledge and coaching young children, and I've been working with the parent and talk group and the parents that come out and take their kids. It's just fabulous. So really good work that has been going on there, and I wanted to thank them. I just wanted to also thank the members. It's not just coaching that we do. The Canada Summer Jobs applications, the deadline for those is Friday. So, for any organization other than us, but we have members of our group who for the first time are learning to figure out how to do that because changing, in the administration stuff. And the last thing I wanted to bring up is Juniper Ridge Intermediate has a new project called Project Positivity. And I thought it was brilliant. They've shared it on their Twitter feed, and I would ask and invite members of council to share and retweet it as well. And what it is, when they see a staff doing something good, there's a form there to record it and keep record of it. And they're going to have a little database of who's been nice and who's done something cool. And at the end of the week, they'll have a draw, and you can be recognized. So if someone sees another student doing something really nice and cool, then they just make a note of it, and then somebody, without even knowing they've been nominated, could receive a prize just for being kind and nice and doing something good for someone else. So I thought that was fabulous, and I thought, you know what a great story to bring to our table and share, and ask that we share it about, because maybe the conversation doesn't find its way home all the time, and maybe someone's following one of you guys, and we can share the information that way. It also might be nice, I don't know if the town would look at retweeting and sharing some of that, if we could ask that be looked at, but I just thought it was a cool thing to share this happening in the community. So that's it for me.
Excellent. Everybody passed, except, okay, back to Councillor Glant.
Gotta say thanks. So it's important to be positive every 2 weeks. Just want to say thanks to the crews. I guess we had our first big snowfall this year, and everything looked pretty good. So, hey, everyone, thank you very much for being out there when no one else wants to be.
All right, thank you. I just got a couple things. I just want to say congratulations to those 4 candidates who put their name forward to run an election in our district, and good luck to them. And you know, whoever gets in there, I'm sure that we'll be on the phone to them as the largest community in the district, looking for things that outstanding projects that we got. Water and wastewater, I think, is probably one of our top priorities, isn't it, Tony? Big price tag. So anyway, we're looking forward to that. I just want, thank you, and it's congratulations and good luck for that. And I guess, Jeff, you must have been reading my mind. I just want to say thank you to staff, the inside staff, the outside staff, everybody. I know that I receive a lot of calls and emails during the day. People are looking for the mayor, and they always manage to find me, even though I'm not here at the town hall. But staff are quick to forward on those messages to me, and I'm usually quick to get back to the people. So thank you for that. And it's for our outside workers, particularly in the winter. It's not easy working out in the cold and the slush and the sliding and everything. And it's not an easy job, and I want to thank them for doing an excellent job. And with that, I don't have anything else, but I do have a question for the Q&A from Robbie Hicks. And Robbie would ask, the buffer around Jones Palm at Luggy Bay Middle Cove Outer Cove is set at 50 metres wide. I am under the impression that Torbay agreed in the past to match this width on the Torbay side. May we have the political committee check into the past history of this and see if the buffer on our side is 50 metres as well. Thank you. So I'll get, do you have an answer for that? Or can I forward you the email and we'll get back to her? Okay, so I'll get Ann to forward you that email, and then we'll respond. I remember that came up before. Yeah. So, All right. Thank you. So, excuse me. Our next public council meeting will take place February 8, 2021, 6:30 here in the council chambers of the town of Torbay. And with that, I would ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
So move.
So moved.
Second.
Mover, seconder, all in favor?
Aye.